Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To get your own very copy of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn Part 1, Special Edition, which features extensive vocabulary, grammatical analysis, rhetorical elements, syntactical insights, Quranic linguistics, overview of verb patterns, diacritical mark reference tables, Hansware dictionary abbreviations, over 1000 word forms, then click in the link in the description below.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the series of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn. We're focusing on the Arab of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn. So inshallah, let's get started. So this is the whole story. So inshallah, we want to zoom in. So we will cover the first 3 sentences first, including the title. So here we have the word da'wah, which is from da'a yad'u, so it's a masdar. So we're going to read this marfu with a dhamma because there's nothing before it that governs it to be in any other state. Titles, we'll treat them in isolation. Generally, if it's a noun, it will be marfu. So here we will say da'watu. The next word is walid, which means father. So we're going to read this as al-walidi. The reason being is because it is mudaf ilayh. So invitation to the father. Notice here, da'watu is masdar, but it's mudaf towards its object, its maf'ul bihi. That's why the translation is not invitation of the father, it's invitation to the father. Had instead of the word al-walid, had it been Ibrahim, then it can make sense. Invitation of Ibrahim. There the masdar would be mudaf towards the fa'il. So da'watul walid, we have it mudaf ilayh construct. Titles, we'll treat them in isolation. It's not a complete sentence. Sometimes it may be a complete sentence, but in this case, it's not. Let's move on. So wa is a particle. It's mabni, it's indeclinable, so it's going to end with a fatha. Arada, also again, past tense verb from arada yuridu, iradatan. Past tense verbs are also considered to be mabni. So we have wa arada, 2 mabni words. Next word is Ibrahim. So who intended? Who was the one that wanted something? It was Ibrahim. So Ibrahim is the fa'il of arada, and fa'il we know it's marfu, so it's going to have a dhamma. But single dhamma, dhammatun wahida, because this word is ghayr munsarif. And the 2 causes of this word being ghayr munsarif is one that it's alam, it's a proper noun, and the second one being ujma, it's not an Arabic word. Next we have the word an, which means that, and it's a particle, so it's going to be mabniyun ala sukun. Then we have the imperfect tense verb, fi'l al-mudari, which is yad'u, but how we're going to read the ending. Considering that there is an before this fi'l mudari, we're going to read it mansub because an is nasiba. It puts the fi'l mudari in the state of nasb. So normally this verb is read da'a yad'u, but because an has entered upon it, it's going to be an yad'uwa. So Ibrahim wanted to invite who? Walid. So the word walid here is taking the role of becoming the maf'ul bihi. That's why we're going to say walida. And the pronoun is mabniin ala dham. Pronouns are considered to be indeclinable. However, they will still experience states. So we can say that the pronoun here is mabniun ala dham fi mahalli jar, because it's in the position of being mudaf ilayh, his father. Aydan, why we're reading this word mansub? The reason being is it's considered to be hal. So in other words, aydan is hal, and hal is a circumstantial phrase. This is not your normal, word that appears as hal. Like you have examples, ja'a Zaydun rakiban, Zayd came riding. So in translation, it might not fit as a dhul hal and hal translation. However, the grammarians have given the reason for this word being mansub is because it's hal. Others say it could even be that it's maf'ul mutlaq of a verb which is omitted. Okay, so here we have the first line. So وَأَرَادَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ أَن يَدْعُوَ وَالِدَهُ أَيْضًا. Ibrahim intended to invite his father as well. So أيضا is translated as well. Move on to our next line. Fa is a particle, so it's مبني على الفتح. قال is a past tense verb, مبني على الفتح. The lam here is حرف الجر, particle. All particles are considered to be indeclinable, so the lam here is حرف الجر مبني على الفتح. له is a pronoun, and like we mentioned before as well, pronouns can still experience states because there's a harful jar, so it'll be fi mahalli jar. In terms of the vowel marking, it's going to be mabniyun ala dhamm. Next we have ya, again a particle, harful nida, the vocative particle is used to call out. Then we have the word abati. Now what's happening with this word? Now ya abati originally was ya abi, which means oh my father. And through grammar we know that if the munada means the one who has been called, if it's involved in a possessive phrase, then it will be mansoob. For example, somebody says, Ya Abdallahi, O servant of Allah. So Abd, servant, and Allah, mudhaf ilayh construct. We will not say Ya Abdullahi, it'll be Ya Abdallahi. So here as well, this phrase was Ya Abi, O my father. So when we have the Ya in place, you cannot really see the haraka of the fatha and the ba because the Ya was there. However, the Ya has been omitted, and in place of the Ya, the ta has been inserted. This ta here, Ya Aba Ti. This ta has been inserted. Now, you cannot have the substituting word and the substituted for word together. So you cannot say Ya Abati. Now, the Ya has been removed, the ta has taken its place. Now, the word ab was in the state of nasb because it was a mudhaf ilayh construct. So that's why the word ab here is going to have a fatha. Ya aba. Because no longer the ya is there in order for the word ab to get a kasra for the suitability of the ya. Because the ta has appeared now, the word ab can take the fatha because it can express, the i'rab can be expressed and it can bear the fatha. That's why it's ya abati. And what's this ta? It's a particle which has come in place of the ya. Okay, and you can't have the substituting word and the substituted for word together. Next we have is this word here. It's actually two words. Li, which is a particle, mabniyun ala al-kasr, and the ma here is ismul istifham, but the alif has been removed. Because when we have ma ismul istifham preceded by a harful jar, the alif is dropped off. Like we see in amma yatasa'alun, is an and the word ma. But because ma is preceded by an, the alif is dropped off and it's merged in writing as well, and it's recited as amma yatasa'alun. So ma is ismu istifham, mabniyun ala sukun originally, but temporary it's got the fatha. But next we have the fi'l mudari, the imperfect tense verb. This is considered to be mu'rab. So before the word ta'bud, there is no particles that govern it to be in the nasb or jazm state. So we're going to say ta'budu, which means worship. So why do you worship? The ma here means that. So it's ismun mawsul. It's a relative pronoun and they are considered to be part of the words which are indeclinable. So ma is ismun mawsul mabniyun ala sukun. However, it can still experience a state. So what state is ma experiencing here? Well, why do you worship that? So it's in the position of being the maf'ul bihi. So we can say ma is ismun mawsul mabniyun ala sukun fi mahalli nasb. Okay, moving on, la is a particle. Why do you worship that which does not? Sami'a yasma'u. Here, again, the fi'l mudari, there's nothing before it for it to govern in the nasb or jazm state. Why is a particle. La again is a particle of negation. And this is from absara yubsiru, babi fan. So when it comes to verbs, if you, inshallah, those who have purchased the book, they will be able to see from the vocabulary where these words, which abwab they appear from. So I will inshallah demonstrate the vocabulary section after the story. So وَلَا يُبْصِرُ. So here we have the second line. فَقَالَ لَهُ. So he said to him, meaning his father, Ya abati, O my father, lima ta'budu, why do you worship ma la yasma'u, that which does not hear, wa la yubsiru, and does not see. The next part, wa, again, it's a particle, li is a particle, harful jar, ma we've explained is actually ismul istifham, but the alif has been removed. Ta'budu, there's nothing before this fi'l mudari for it to govern in any other state, so it's in the rough state, so it's going to be ta'budu. Ta'budu. Okay. So why do you worship? Ma again is ismul mawsul mabniyun ala sukun. So ismul mawsul is considered to be mabni. It can experience a state, and again here it's experiencing the state of nas because it's the maf'ul bi of ta'budu. La is a particle of negation. Nafa'a yanfa, which means to be of avail or benefit. Again, the fi'l mudari is going to be marfu with the dhamma. Wa, we've already covered this. And the la again. Now this verb is from darra yadurru. So when it comes to verbs, I did mention before as well, that's when you need to know your vocabulary and background of the verbs, which verb patterns do they come from, which abwab they come from. So this is from darra yadurru. So here we have it. وَلِمَا تَعْبُدُ مَا لَا يَنْفَعُ وَلَا يَضُرُّ. And why do you worship that which does not benefit and does not cause harm? Ya, again, particle of exclamation. Abati, we've already covered that. It was ya abi. The ta has come in place of the ya, and the word ab is in the state of nas because it's a possessive phrase, and if the munada is a possessive phrase, it'll be mansub with a fatha. Not the ya is no longer there, so the word ab can now retain the fatha, and the ta is in place of the ya. La ta'bud. Here, what's happening here? So here there's prohibition taking place. So he said, "Oh my father, don't worship." Now notice here, it would have been la ta'bud, but because you're joining onto the next word, and the next word, the alif lam, okay, there's considered to be another sukun there. So when you have two sukuns appearing together, what you do is you give the first one a haraka with a kasra. So la ta'bud this shaytan. Do not worship, and shaitan here is in the position of being the maf'ul bihi. So it's going to be mansub with a fatha because inside la ta'bud we have the file which is anta. So here we go. Ya abati la ta'bud shaytana. Oh my father, do not worship shaitan. Okay, so let's carry on. Again, ya abati, we've already done this. Ya is a particle, mabniyun ala sukun. Aba is munada mudaf, so it's going to be mansub with a fatha. The ta is in place of the ya. Now this word is u'bud because this hamza is wasl. It's a eliding hamza, so we can actually join the haraka of the ta onto the ain straight away. So the hamza would have been u'bud, but because it's hamzatul wasl, an eliding hamza, that means we can move and join straight the ta onto the ain. Ya abati', and the ba, this verb is in the command form, so it's u'bud, joining onto ya abati, so ya abati'bud. Now again, it would have ended with a sukun, but because we're joining onto the next word, we're going to give a kasra, so it's going to be ya abati'budir, and the word ar-Rahman here is maf'ul bihi. Maf'ul bihi. So let's see if we can get a kara zabar in there. Okay, there we go. Probably just need to change the font to Adwa Salaf. There we go. Okay. So, oh my father, ya abati' budir rahma. So the word Rahman here is maf'ul bihi. So, oh my father, worship the most merciful. Moving on, wa is a particle, it means and. This verb is from sami'a yasma'u, so it's going to be wa ghadiba. Again, the vocabulary section covers these aspects. Who became angry? father of Ibrahim. So the word walid here, it's fa'il, so it's going to be marfu with a dhamma. Single dhamma because it's wound in a possessive phrase. So the mudhaf don't have tanween. Father of Ibrahim. Now the word Ibrahim, because it's غير munsarif, is going to have fatha bila tanween. Because a غير munsarif word in the state of jar, it has a fatha without a tanween. And why is Ibrahim in the state of jar? The reason being is because it's the mudhaf ilayh, father of Ibrahim, or Ibrahim's father. So here we go. وَغَضِبَ وَالِدُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ, and Ibrahim's father became angry. Wa means and, qala means said. Both words are mabniyun ala al-fath. And he said, meaning the father, ana. So ana is a pronoun. Pronouns are considered to be mabni. So this is mabniyun ala sukun. Ana. Even though we just stop on the fatha, we don't read the alif. But however, in terms of i'rab, we will say it's mabniyun ala sukun. And it's come at the beginning of a sentence, so it's taken the role of being mubtada'un. So we can say ana is marf fi mahalli raf. It's in the position of being in the state of raf. When it comes to mabni words, we actually say fi mahalli raf, nasb, or jar. When it comes to mu'rab words, the grammarians tend to use marfu, mansub, and majroor. So just try to get used to that. Because ana is a mabni word, it normally would be, they would express it ana في ضمير في محل رفع مبتدأ. Now أضرب is a verb which is going to be أضرب. I was going to say from ضرب يضرب, but the verb already expresses that. Okay, so أضرب. There's nothing before it to govern in the nasb or jazm state when it comes to fi'l mudari. So this is going to be marfu with a dhamma. I am going to hit, and the kafiya is a pronoun mabniyun ala al-fath. It's in the state of nasb because maf'ul bihi. I'm going to hit you. Fa is a particle, which means so. Now this word would have been normally utrukni, but the hamza here is eliding, so the fa is going to, from the fa we're going to move straight onto the ta. So fat, and because it's from nasara yansuru, we're going to say fat ruk, like unsurni, fansurni, fat rukni. So utruk, it's an imperative verb, so it's fi'lu amr, and we would say here fat rukni. Okay, that the fi'lu amr is mabniyun ala sukun. The noon here is noon al-wiqaya, so the noon comes to preserve the sukun on the fi'lu amr. Otherwise, if the noon was not there, it would be read fatruki, and the kaf would have to have the kasra. Okay, but the noon's taking the kasra. The vowel of the mabni word is preserved. So this is how the noon preserves and safeguards the haraka of the letter before it. The ya here acts as the maf'ul bihi. So leave me alone. Leave me. Fatrukni. So leave me. And wa is a particle. La here is nahiya. So it's prohibitive la. Taqul is fi'lu nahyin. So it's a prohibitive verb. And it's mabniyun ala sukun. Wala taqul. And inside here we'll have the pronoun anta, which means you. And you do not say. Shay'an here is acting as the maf'ul bihi, anything. So maf'ul bihi of la taqul, that's why it's mansub with a fatha. So here we go. وَقَالَ أَنَا أَضْرِبُكَ فَاتْرُكْنِي وَلَا تَقُلْ شَيْئًا. And he said, I am going to beat you up. So leave me alone. وَلَا تَقُلْ شَيْئًا, and do not say anything. Next we have is wa particle again. Kana is past tense verb. It's particle is mabniyun al-fath. Now kana, we know that it has an ism which is marfu and the khabar which is mansub. So Ibrahim is acting as the noun of kana. So it's going to be wa kana Ibrahimu. No tanween because this word is ghayr munsarif. Now what's the khabar of kana? It's halim. So that's why we're going to read it as haliman, because the khabar of kana is mansub in the state of nasb. So wa kana Ibrahimu haliman. Fa is a particle, mabniyun al-fath. Qala is a past tense verb. Past tense verbs are considered mabni, so it'll be mabniyun al-fath. He said, li means to, It's used with the verb qala, so it's mabniyun ala al-kasr. Walid is preceded by a harful jar, so it's going to be majroor with a kasra. So liwalidi, and the he is a pronoun. We can say that's mabniyun ala al-kasr. Experiencing the state of jar. Why? Because it's mudaf ilayh. So he said to his father, what he says, Salamun alayk. Salam here is acting as the mubtada'un. Now, generally mubtada is ma'rifah, but when it comes to invoking a supplication, a dua, it can take the role of mubtada'un. Okay, so salamun is marfu with a dhamma because mubtada'un, and the khabar is alayk, but it's a prepositional phrase coming in the form. So ala, it's mabniyun ala sukun. We're joining onto the word ka, the pronoun, so that is also mabni as well. So the preposition ala is mabni ala sukun. The kaf, which is a pronoun in the jar state, because it's preceded by the harful jar ala, it'll be mabniyun ala al-fath. So let's read this. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ حَلِيمًا فَقَالَ لِوَالِدِهِ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكَ. And Ibrahim was very gentle, forbearing. So he said to his father, Salamun alayk, peace be upon you. Okay. So here let's carry on. We have wa, which means and. Again, waqala, this has already been done before. He said to him, all these words are mabni. So wa is mabni al-fath, qala is mabni al-fath, past tense verb, lam is a harful jar, still a particle, mabniyun al-fath. Who is a pronoun? So pronouns are also considered to be mabni, but in this case, this is mabniyun al-dhamm. Ana is a pronoun again, mabniyun al-sukun, and it's fi mahalli raf because the statement would be considered to be a separate, an isolated sentence, and then the sentence as a whole will become the maqul of the qawl, the statement. So it'll be experienced in the state of nasb. But when we're breaking this sentence down, this statement, ana adhabu, this is considered to be as an independent sentence. So that's why ana, we can say it's mubtadaun in the middle of this sentence, wa qala lahu ana. Adhabu is fi'l mudari'un, is from fatah bab fatha yaftahu. So adhabu is in the rough state. There's nothing before it to govern in the nasb or jazm state. I am going to go. Min is a particle, so mabniyun ala sukun, harful jar. Huna is dharf, so some dhuruf are mabni, and this is one of them, which means here. So it's going to be mabniyun ala sukun, fi mahalli jar, because of the harful jar min. So the i'rab of huna is not expressed because it's a mabni word. So I'm going to go from here. Wa means and. Ad'u means I am going to pray or call unto my Lord. So wa'ad'u, here it's marfu with a hidden dhamma. Originally was ad'u, but because of morphological changes it became da'a yad'u. Originally was da'awa yad'u. So wa'ad'u, I'm going to call. Rabb means Lord. Now this word is actually in the state of nasb, because I'm going to call Lord. Who's Lord? Rabbi, my Lord. But however, because this word is involved in a possessive phrase with ya al-mutakallim, that means the fatha on the word Rabb is muqaddaratun, is implied, it's assumed. So Rabb, on the apparent, it seems like he has a kasra, but the actual alamat al-i'rab is actually implied, it's taqdiri. So Rabb, it's maf'ul bihi of ad'u, and the fatha is muqaddara, is implied. And the ya here is ya al-mutakallim, and the pronoun will be experienced in the state of jar because it's in the position of being mudaf ilayh, my Lord. So let's read this sentence. وَقَالَ لَهُ, and he said to him, meaning Ibrahim said to his father, أَنَا أَذْهَبُ مِنْ هُنَا, I'm going to go from here, وَأَدْعُو رَبِّي, and I'm going to pray to my Lord. Wa means and. Ta'assafa, this is from bab tafa'ul. Ta'assafa yata'assafu, which means to become sad. Okay, so it's a past tense verb, so it's mabniyun al-fath. Who became sad? Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim is the fa'il, so we're going to say Ibrahimu. So wa ta'assafa Ibrahimu, no tanween because this word is ghayr munsharif. And jiddan, we've covered this in our first story. This is actually considered to be maf'ul mutlaq. not your normal maf'ul mutlaq, normally where you have a verb in the same meaning mentioned before. Here, the verb will be implied. So, وَتَأَسَّفَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ جِدًّا. Jiddan is mansub because we will consider or apply that the verb of jiddan is omitted from the text. However, this word will be considered to be mansub because maf'ul mutlaq. So how are we going to read this? وَتَأَسَّفَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ جِدًّا, and Ibrahim became very sad. وَأَرَادَ, we've already done this verb words as well. So wa is a particle, arada is a past tense verb, both mabniyun al-fath, and is a particle, and so means that. So it's mabniyun ala sukun. And the fi'l mudari that comes after the word an will be mansub. And in this case, it will be mansub with a fatha. So that's why we're reading وَأَرَادَ أَن يَذْهَبَ. Ila means to. So he intended, let's get the kara zabar on there. Might need to change the font again because it just goes a bit wayward. Okay, and there we go. So he intended to go. Ila is mabniyun ala sukun. We can see the long, the alif here, ila, so mabniyun ala sukun, and it's harful jar. That means the word balad is going to be majroor with a kasra. Ila baladin, which means city or country. Now next we have this word akhar, which means another. Now the word akhar is becoming the sifa of balad, but we're not going to say akharin, ila baladin akharin, because the word akhar is actually ghayr munsarif. And a ghayr munsarif word in the state of jar will have a fatha without tanween. So we're going to read it akhara, ila baladin akhara. What's the two causes of the word akhar being ghayr munsarif? Because we need two causes or one which is equal to two, like jam muntahal jumu, masajid. So here in akhar there's actually two causes. One is wasf, that it's got the meaning of being a description. When you say another, it's got the meaning of wasf, a describing meaning when you say another. And number two is it's on the scale of a verb, because akharu, okay, it's on the pattern of af'alu. Originally, okay, so if you look at akharu, it can fit on the pattern of af'alu. Okay, so waznul fi'l. So like you have akala ya'kulu. Okay, and when you bring the mutakallim say, you say akulu. Okay, so akharu. So a bit of vowel marking difference in obviously which bab it's from. Okay, so you have aftahu, adribu, aksiru, akulu, so akhar. So this word will be considered to be غير munsarif. One is that it's on the scale of verb, waznul fi'l, and the second one being is wasf. And that's enough for the word to be غير munsarif. غير munsarif words in the state of jar, they will have a fatha. So ila baladin akhara. Next we have wa, which means and. Ya'bud, how we're going to read this? Well, let's look at, can we possibly link it to something before? Because we got waw harful atf. That means this fi'l mudari'un is been added onto something. So we had yadhhaba. The word yadhhaba is in the state of nasb because of an. And ya'budu is ma'tuf, is doing atf, is been conjoined to the verb yadhhab. And we know that ma'tuf follows the i'rab of ma'tuf alayh. So that's why this fi'l mudari will read it also mansub with a fatha wa ya'buda. Yadhhaba is mansub with a fatha because of an. Ya'buda is mansub with a fatha because doing atf on the verb yadhhaba. And ma'tuf follows the i'rab of ma'tuf alayh. And worship his Lord. The word Lord here is in the state of nasb because maf'ul bihi. So it's going to be mansub with a fatha. And his is a pronoun. It's mabniyun ala dham fi mahalli jar because mudaf ilayh. Again, we have the fi'l mudari. We're adding another fi'l mudari. So this time we're not going to say yad'u, we're going to say yad'uwa. Because yad'uwa is another fi'l mudari which has been added onto yadhhab. It's a continuation. Atf has taken place. And that means this will have the same i'rab as the ma'tuf alayh. So وَيَدْعُوَ, and he calls who? The people. So the people here is maf'ul bihi. وَيَدْعُوَ النَّاسَ. إِلَى is harful jar, so مبني على السكون, And Ismul Jalala, because it follows the Harful Jar, it'll be majroor with a kasra. So let's read this last sentence. وأراد أن يذهب إلى بلد آخر ويعبد ربه ويدعو الناس إلى الله. And he intended or he wanted to go to another country or another city and worship his Lord and invite the people to Allah. So Alhamdulillah, that is story number 11 complete through the lens of grammar. So we've covered the Arab of story number 11, Da'watul Walid, with complete explanation. And we did mention before as well, if somebody wants to purchase the book, they can. There'll be a link in the description, inshallah. And you will also get the full vocabulary breakdown of the verbs. So absara yubsiru, like I mentioned to you before as well. It tells you which verb pattern is from. So bab ifal, it means to see. Shaytan, plural shayatinu. Okay. Haluma yahlumu hilman. The description form is halim, plural is hulama, it means to be gentle. So you have the vocabulary. You also even have the full grammatical breakdown of the whole story. So exactly what we mentioned, it's there in a text format. So you cannot go wrong in understanding the vowel markings. So everything is mentioned. Everything that we have covered today is mentioned in a text format, and that will help you and support you in determining the Arab. And there's even more than what we have actually mentioned, because it even mentions the sentences as a whole, what states they experience. And as a bonus, there's balagha points mentioned as well, and there's also al-fa'ida, where it mentions grammatical points. Okay, so let's delve into some points of balagha. So we have one here, al-itnab. Al-itnab is actually a mode of discourse and speech in Arabic where you prolong the words in the sentence for a rhetorical benefit. And in this story, we can see that Ibrahim alayhi salam, he repeated the phrase Ya Abati. Okay, and what's the purpose of this? بتكرير حرف النداء لاستنزاله إلى قبول الموعظة. The reason why he mentioned Ya Abati several times was to persuade his father in accepting the advice. Okay, so he called out his father several times. Otherwise, if he's called out his father once, that's enough. And this is, an example of this is where Luqman alayhi salam, when addressing his son, he used the word Ya Bunayya 3 times. So once he said, Ya Bunayya la tushrik billah, oh my, child, dear child, do not associate partners with Allah. And then second time he said, Ya Bunayya innaha in taku mithqala habbatin min khardalin, that oh my son, dear son, that if there's a sin that it was to become equal to a mustard weight of a mustard seed, an atom, a mustard seed, and it was to be under a rock, then even that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can bring forth. Okay, and then the last one where he said, Ya bunayya aqimis salah, oh my dear son, establish prayer. Wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha anil munkar, enjoin the good and forbid the evil. Okay, so this can be found in Luqman al-Islam's conversation with his son. However, when it came to Nuh alayhi salam, he mentioned it once. Ya bunayya kam ma'ana, oh my dear son, come on board with us. So what's the reason of Nuh alayhi salam mentioning once? Because لأن ضيق المقام يقتضي الإيجاز, because he was in a very tight situation. The whole area is flooded, and he's just about got enough time to even call on his son to come on board. So you can imagine the scene. So he's got very less time. So he said he wants, Ya bunayya come ma'ana wa la takum ma'al kafirin. So there we can see that Nuh al-Islam, because the constraint of time, he mentioned it once. So this is mentioned in Tahrir wa Tanweer. So, this book works as an absolute treat for those who want to go on to study Balagha. They will be able to, at least have a head start in understanding rhetorical aspects through the stories of the prophets. And also we have, grammatical aspects covered as well. So, for example, we have the word salam here. الأصل في المبتدأ أن يكون معرفة ولا يكون نكرة إلا إذا حصلت بها فائدة، وتحصل الفائدة بأحد أمور يسمونها المسوغات. So here basically Salam is talking about how can he take the role of being Mubtada when Mubtada is generally Ma'rifah. And here is explaining that, some Nuhat have mentioned about 30 plus reasons where there's accommodation for the Mubtada to be Nakira. And one of them, Minha an takuna dua. One of them is when the Mubtada is actually invoking a supplication. So for example, Salamun ala Ilyasin, or even if it's a curse, like Wailul lil Mutaffifin. So it could be dua lahu or dua alayh. So even aspects of grammar are also mentioned. So if anybody is interested in purchasing the book, you will, inshallah, have all this inside the book. Even if we go to the beginning of the book as well, before the stories start, alhamdulillah, the aspects of grammar are also explained as well. So if I want to just give you a kind of a walkthrough, so terminologies when it comes to verb patterns, sahih, mithal, adwaf, naqis. We also have the verb patterns themselves. So bab, nasara, yansuru, daraba, yadribu. They have subcategories. Sami'a, yasma'u, fataha, yaftahu. Depending on, does he have weak letters found in there, or is there hamza or two letters of the same type? Also, we have charts when it comes to grammatical moods. So which words are considered to be in the state of raf, nasb, jar, jazm, and then we have a full diacritical table for declinable nouns, how it actually works. So which type of noun, in what state, what vowel marking it will have. So grammatical declinable tables for ismun mu'arab and also the imperfect tense verb. So alhamdulillah, I think that's enough for today. Inshallah, we'll continue, if Allah wills, with story number 12. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To deepen your understanding of the Arabic language, explore our range of courses, including Balagha, Arabic Rhetoric, covering the 3 core disciplines of Arabic Rhetoric. The Arab course, which offers a comprehensive study of diacritical markings, and the Tarkib course, focusing on sentence structure and composition, along with many other enriching programs. To learn more, click the link in the description.